When I first was starting my gender journey, it was really what I was running away from than I was running towards. And I definitely did not feel at home being a man. And I was really good at being a man. I had lots of social success presenting male. I was very tall. I'm an athlete. I'm a two-time Olympian, physician. I could have had all the boxes checked for being the perfect man and got plenty of external validation. But inside, I felt like this was a mask that I was building up, and if anyone ever knew the real me inside, I'd be out and outcast. I spent years actually being kind of privately non-binary, trying to suppress my hormones, thinking that maybe that would help in a way that, that was somehow the root of my problems, which actually was kind of misguided medical care, to be honest. That I could somehow, once I suppress my male hormones, that I would suddenly have a different experience of self-gender perception. And if anything, it just kind of pushed me more towards, I'm not actually just running away from being perceived as male. I am a woman. I would like to have my life's interaction, as a social creature, I need to interact with other people and have them see me for the way I see myself. It's not only the constant misgendering, it's really that you see their wheels turning in their head, that they're struggling so hard to help you affirm your gender, and it's just an effort for them. They don't really see that it's almost, in some ways it feels to me that those people were doing their best to affirm me and just having to work so hard because their brain kept on telling them over and over and over, there's a male person sitting in front of me, and it just was extra mental load for them, and that was reflecting back on me in some way. It is a sudden change, but you're also recovering from a surgery. So even though inside my mind I could see a switch was flipped, I could see the bone was different, I knew that it was going to be different once I healed fully. Immediately, the first thing that people see you when you first are out of any surgery to your face is that you just had a facial surgery, and that's the kind of most salient aspect of your initial presentation. And so I think the implicit gendering comes kind of second place. The process for me in my gender journey was more gradual. It's almost like it takes a while for me to integrate all the experiences that I have over the course of a day or a week or a month, when I realize, kind of in retrospect, looking back on my recent experiences, that wow, when I meet people, they implicitly gender me female. And the kind of sum of those experiences has a cumulatively powerful impact that does change. I never imagined I would get there. So it wasn't a holistic view that I said, this is what I'm going to get to. It was a miraculous discovery that this could even be possible for me. And that was the beginning of a journey of being an out trans woman, but also feminine presenting and implicitly gendered as feminine, that gave me the confidence to do all the other things that have brought me great joy, including being able to talk to a doctor or multiple doctors that said, I don't really think that you should be breastfeeding. I don't think you should try to breastfeed a child. There's not enough data on this subject. I don't want to be doing experimentation. We're not sure. But of course, physiologically, mammary glands are mammary glands. They've been created by the same molecule in my body as any cisgender woman's body, and there's no reason to believe it wouldn't be fine. I think this is an anti-trans prejudice. And I found a physician that was willing to say, all right, we'll try lactation induction, of course. Well, we can do extra testing on your blood to make sure it's safe. We can do extra testing on your milk to make sure it's safe for the baby. Of course it was, spoiler alert. It's actually funny that the first physician that I went to thought that breastfeeding could be quote unquote too dangerous. When I look at the benefit to my mental health and my well-being and my joy that I got from breastfeeding compared to the very legitimate and real joy I had from other gender-affirming surgeries, that were certainly from a medical standpoint, far greater risk. The fact that a physician wanted to deny me the marginal increase in risk from maybe slightly changing my hormone regimen relating to lactation induction is almost outrageous. It really, given how much it's meant to me, I can't imagine ever taking no for an answer. By the time my child was born, I was producing more than they needed, and my production was totally within normal range. My milk was as good as any other human being's milk out there who's lactating, and I've been breastfeeding for over a year, and it's been an incredibly special experience for me as a person, for me as a mother, and for me as a connection with my child. I feel like there's kind of 3 steps in which I had an advantage that in some ways can be can be those doors are opening for a wider percentage of the population. So one of the doors that I had opened for me, like you said, was geographic, and I was in a place where there is a community of medical professionals in San Francisco and in many other cities, but maybe less prevalent in rural areas, where there are physicians that are competent with trans care and are able to deliver the sort of care that is necessary. Another set of privilege I had into going into this process was I had medical literacy. I was a physician. I had gone to medical school, even if they didn't teach about trans medicine. I certainly understood what the sort of steps that I needed to, what was possible in the realm of possibility for the medical interventions that would change my anatomy and physiology. And finally, there is a financial piece. I was in a career that I had, in spite of I have children and I have to support them and I have to make sound financial decisions. But I was in a place where it wasn't out of reach from a financial standpoint. And I think that the culture is changing in several ways. One is that there's greater cognizance of these geographical limitations, and even if you're in an area that can't deliver this sort of medical care, you can get to a place and be supported getting to that place potentially that will help you get the care that you need. And then secondly, from a medical literacy standpoint, just knowing these sort of procedures exist, seeing the representation in media, and then having people just explain their journey and, just on the internet and the videos you can watch and the, various resources that have proliferated in the last decade or two have, I hope, opened the doors of people's minds to understand what might be possible for them. And finally, in a financial standpoint, there has been a greater push, and I think there's a trend towards more and more insurance companies seeing that this is a essential medical service. This improved outcomes. There's, the details of medicine are always. It's always an art of medicine. It's always a practice of medicine. There's never one right answer for every single person. But we know, on average, in total, this is a critical medical intervention that will save lives and improve lives and bring joy to people. And what more could we want out of medicine than that? And if there's any insurance companies that truly believe that is their mission, and I think there have been, they're covering more and more of these type of procedures, and I hope that trend will continue.